Hello, my name is Tara Leslie. I'm the course coordinator for Pharm 533, and thank you for joining me in the third part of our orientation series for the courses of Pharm 523 and 533. For this session, we will be reviewing PBL roles, responsibilities, and process. For learning objectives, by the end of this session, I am hopeful that you will be able to explain the roles of the course coordinator, case facilitator, and students in the PBL process for Pharm 523 and 533. Describe the learning activities and general timeline utilized for each topic and meet the topic learning objectives. Describe the additional team roles suggested for each course topic and the associated responsibilities. Prepare appropriately for the PBL learning activities we have planned for the first face-to-face session at Spring Institute, and prepare appropriately to participate in the team rules and responsibilities discussion during Spring Institute. Let's start out with the responsibilities of the facilitator, the coordinator, and the students. Problem-based learning was described to you in detail during the first orientation video. And as you recall, PBL is an active learning method that is both self-directed and reliant on teamwork. It is a student-centered approach where the responsibility of learning themselves and teaching others is placed with the students. Embracing this philosophy is very important for your success in the course and the success of the entire team. Some of the key advantages of PBL is that it helps learners to learn how to address complex problems. It goes beyond just memorizing facts because it develops skills to figure out what needs to be learned. It requires integrating knowledge and application of critical thinking and clinical judgment, which are essential for the complexities of modern clinical practice and to enhance lifelong learning. Instead of a traditional teacher that delivers the required content, PBL uses a tutor to facilitate learning. Also, in the first orientation video, the characteristics of high-functioning teams was reviewed. Teams have norms or rules that regulate the behavior of individuals within the team. These rules are built upon common beliefs and expectations for appropriate behavior and attitudes. Within this course and the PharmD program overall, it is expected that you will challenge the ideas of others with respect. In addition, you will be expected to provide and receive feedback in a constructive and supportive way. We all want the team to function at its best and for everyone to have the best opportunity to be successful. When receiving feedback from a peer or a course coordinator or a facilitator, remember our goal is to improve knowledge, critical thinking, and the ability to make and support decisions. Please also keep this in mind when you are providing others with feedback. Roles refer to the expectations defining the appropriate behaviors for a specific position on the team. Within this orientation video, I will be providing you with some background information regarding the roles in Pharm 523 and Pharm 533. At the face-to-face orientation, you will have the opportunity to develop some of the team norms or rules as a collective. As previously mentioned, PBL uses a tutor to facilitate learning. In the case of Pharm 523 or Pharm 533, the PBL tutor is the case facilitator. It is important to keep in mind that the facilitator is not the primary information provider, or in other words, the facilitator does not teach students in the traditional sense of teaching. The facilitator does, however, though, have expertise in the topic content. He or she has developed or updated the learning content such as the lecture, readings, and case learning objectives. They have compiled a resource list to assist you in the learning activities. Some lists may be more comprehensive than others. However, this is a great place to start. Keep in mind you will need to do your own literature search as well. The facilitators enhance the learning of the students by sharing clinical pearls or personal experience. But as the PBL process is student-centered, it is important that they facilitate the learning and not direct the learning. You can expect the facilitator to be monitoring the students to ensure they are on track with their learning and to helping facilitate online discussion and challenging you as a learner. The course coordinator in Pharm 523 or 533 may be the case facilitator for select topics that are within their area of expertise. The course coordinator will be responsible for assessing participation in the course. For participation, students are expected to contribute to the team learning by completing their portion of the team workload on time and contributing to group discussion with an appropriate quantity and quality of online discussion posts. The course coordinator will use a rubric known as the TACL, or TACL, to provide each student with formative feedback prior to the midterm, and then a summative written evaluation at the end of the course. The course coordinator will also monitor team dynamics and team function, as well as the PBL process, and provide feedback to the team when required. The course coordinator will also complete evaluation of assignments, review exam scores, and assign the course grades. Students are expected to be the primary providers of the information associated with each topic's learning objectives. Active participation is absolutely key. Students are expected to complete their learning activities as scheduled, meet the deadlines set by the team, and demonstrate engagement with the team and process. Some of the specific learning activities include completing the introductory lecture, required pre-readings, and reviewing the case at the start of each topic. Also, writing quality content for the learning of yourself and your peers during a topic module. Finally, it is so important to be an active contributor to the online discussions. There will also be very specific team roles that each student will take on, taking turns. We will be discussing these in a little bit. Let's take a look now at an overview of the PBL activities. As discussed in the first orientation video, the PBL process begins with the presentation of a patient case. This is activating prior knowledge by exploring the topic, followed by identifying one's learning needs, learning and teaching each other the new knowledge, followed by identifying and clarifying the drug-related problems, applying the new knowledge, and then further elaborating and building depth of knowledge. Specifically, how this translates for each topic in 523 or 533 is outlined in this table. As you can see, the middle column of this chart lists the days within a 2-week period that the activities will occur. I want to stress that these days are very general. The specific deadlines for each activity will be determined by you and your teammates at Spring Institute, but the days listed here will give you a general guideline of where you might determine putting the deadline as a team. Students will first review the patient case posted by the case facilitator. To explore the topic and activate prior knowledge, the student will review the introductory lecture, read the recommended pre-case readings, and complete a quiz. Generally, this is done within the first 2 days of the topic or module. Then the student will create their own individual learning objectives as described in the second orientation video. After submitting your own LOs, the case facilitator will make his or her list of LOs available. Each LO will be assigned to a student or perhaps a pair of students. The assigned student or students will create content to address the LO over the next several days. Once the individual LO content is posted, students will engage in an online discussion about each LO and its content. Engagement and participation in the online discussion boards is very important to the learning and teaching of others. Around halfway through the topic, each student is required to create a list of drug therapy problems for the patient case. From these, a collated list of drug therapy problems will be created for the team to be the basis of developing a patient care plan. On approximately day 10 or 11, students will synthesize and apply their new knowledge by creating a pharmacy care plan for the case. 2 students in the class will actually post their care plan to eClass. After posting, elaboration of the new knowledge occurs through online discussion of the care plans and topic wrap-up activities. You may be wondering, what do I mean by creating learning objective content, or LO content? Each student will be assigned 1 to 2 of the case facilitator's LOs, and the student is expected to create a concise summary of information to address the LO. This summary not only should be concise, but also be a synthesis of the data that goes beyond tertiary references such as Lexicomp or RX files. It needs to include evidence from appropriate sources, including the primary literature. The content should go beyond just the answers, but also explain the why. As such, a cut and paste from guidelines or online tertiary references is not adequate or appropriate. As a reminder, your summary must be your own work. Plagiarism will not be tolerated. If you require clarity on the university's plagiarism policy, please refer to the Code of Student Behavior available on the U of A website. Be sure to include your name, the date, and all the references for your content. Also, page numbers are really helpful for those who may choose to print the information. I encourage you to use abbreviations when possible and appropriate, as it can help to limit your word content. To assist you in developing your LO content, you will have access to some templates. The drug chart template allows you to organize comparative information about drugs, and the landmark trial summary template helps you to organize your critical appraisal and keep the conclusions concise and the way to apply it concise, as it is very important that you include appraisal and evaluation of the primary literature within your content. Now let's look at some of the team roles and responsibilities. As mentioned several times, within these courses, students are expected to be engaged and active participants in the learning and the PBL process. Also, there is an expectation that team members will follow the rules set out by the team. In addition to the team norms, there are some additional roles for each topic or module that Sarah and I encourage you to consider. These roles will rotate to different students with each topic or module. We suggest that you implement a team leader. Again, the team leader role would be a different student with each topic module. Suggested responsibilities for the team leader could include being a liaison for the topic and initiating contact with the topic facilitator a couple of weeks prior to the topic start date to introduce themselves and the team. They would also be a liaison between the topic facilitator and the group or the course coordinator and group for module issues or planning. They would also be the meeting chair, so they would lead or chair any group discussions for the topic or module that may be done synchronously. They also are going to collate the single list of drug therapy problems and post them on eClass after all the students develop their own drug therapy problems. After collating the list, they can notify the facilitator that the group's list is posted so the facilitator can review. Having a process monitor can also be helpful, and you may want to consider having this role within your team. Again, it would rotate with each topic. The process monitor encourages participation, monitors the group process, and helps to ensure there is adequate wrap-up. So for encouraging participation, they will communicate with team members that are not participating or following the process to encourage them and engage them in the process. They will be responsible for initiating discussion when needed. And they also will help to moderate discussion and redirect when needed. For example, if things may get off topic, the process monitor can help to redirect discussion back on topic. For wrap-up, the process monitor can ensure that all outstanding questions are answered, and if not, prompt the team members to complete them. They also can assess group performance or group process at the end of each module or topic and communicate with the course coordinator if needed, and also communicate with their team members and their teammates to find ways to improve in the future. The role of the care plan leader must be filled by 2 students with each topic. So in other words, there will be 2 care plan leaders for each topic. This role is not optional, but again, it would rotate between the class. All students are expected to create a patient care plan based on the patient case that is presented in the topic. However, 2 of the students will post their care plan to eClass for class discussion. Looking to next steps. When we meet for our face-to-face time at Spring Institute, we are going to be talking about building a good committed team and building some team norms. So I encourage you to start thinking about this now as we prepare for Spring Institute. Think about things like, what ways can we build commitment within our team? What do you expect of your teammates? What do you expect of yourself? And what do you think are good team rules? What are the consequences if you don't follow the team rules or a classmate doesn't follow the team rules? And how will the team monitor and respond to non-adherence? When we get together, we'll make some team discussions about what these rules are, what the specifics are for the team roles and responsibilities, and what the specifics are of the details of the team schedule. In the previous slide, I provided you with a guideline for how each 2-week module may look, but we will be determining as a team the specifics of how that team schedule will look. Sarah and I will have some recommendations for you based on what we've seen as successful in previous classes. When we meet at Spring Institute, we're going to start engaging in some of the activities that we would do in our PBL process for 523 and 533. To adequately prepare, please complete the following activities. Take a look at the patient case that is posted for you in eClass. Complete the introductory readings that are posted. Then I want you to take a look at the introductory lecture, and once you feel comfortable with the content, complete the short quiz that assesses your knowledge after just doing these introductory activities. Once you complete these, please create a list of individual learning objectives, and I stress that you should be applying the principles and concepts that we discussed in orientation video number 2. Once you've developed your list of learning objectives, please bring a paper copy with you to your Pharm 523-533 orientation session. In the PBL process, what I've just asked you to do is a good representation of being presented with a patient case or a problem, exploring the topic and activating prior knowledge, and then identifying the relevant learning needs for yourself. To summarize, now that we've gone through this session, you should be able to explain the roles of the course coordinator, case facilitator, and students in the PBL process for 523-533. You should be able to describe the learning activities and general timeline for the learning activities. You should be able to discuss some suggested team roles and the associated responsibilities. And you should be prepared for the PBL learning activities planned at Spring Institute and to discuss and finalize the team roles, norms, and rules. Thank you very much for your attention during this session. I look forward to meeting you. Once again, my name is Tara Leslie.